continue our conversation here at the NASREC studio. I'm still in conversation with my colleague Sherwin Bryce-Pease. Sherwin, since you arrived from the United States, you've been hard at work monitoring all developments, and this week you've also been liaising with the DIRCO specifically on the arrivals. Who do we know has arrived already?
So the first two heads of state or heads of bloc or government are Ursula von der Leyen, the EU Commission chair, and Antonio Costa, who is the EU Council president. And I don't think you should just sort of brush aside at the significance of that early arrival. Essentially, things really get underway on Saturday. It's Thursday afternoon, early afternoon, and they're on the ground already. I know they'll be doing a press conference. And remember what they represent in terms of the relationship with South Africa. They recently signed, I believe it was an 11.3 billion euro clean energy and sustainable infrastructure deal, an agreement, a partnership with the South African government. So the EU is essentially saying we endorse your development program, we endorse the agenda of this G20 summit, and we are antithetical to what the United States is saying about that development, and we're going to show up early just to, put our thumb on the scale a little bit more. So I think from the South African perspective, welcome to the EU, and thank you for coming early. We understand that the president of Nigeria, who will be an invited guest, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is expected today. The arrival of Prime Minister Anthony Albanese of Australia, who's a G20 member, expected today. Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed is an invited guest. The Chinese Premier is coming from Zambia, we understand, an official visit there. Li Jiang, he's expected today, representing, of course, the second largest economy in the world, not without significance. And then additionally, we expect Egypt this week. Angola has invited guests. Angola also the AU Commission chair, Zimbabwe, Algeria, Singapore, Spain, Jamaica representing the Caribbean. Just a snapshot of some of the 40-plus delegations that are coming here. The G100, as the United States Treasury Secretary said, and you heard President Ramaphosa say it's the best G summit that we've ever had so far. So pushing back, but not mentioning names.
Most certainly. That's how the president has always been. Very diplomatic in his approach, but if you listen carefully, you'll hear exactly what he's saying. But we know that 4 countries, we've spoken about this throughout the week, that 4 countries will not be represented at head of state level. Just remind us of these 4 countries that will not be represented at head of state level. I know China is among those.
China is one. I believe it's the Argentinians. I'm not sure the Saudi crown prince will be coming. I believe it will be the foreign minister. And what's the
Russia,
of course.
And we know the
he cannot travel.
there.
He cannot travel due to an ICC arrest warrant as it relates to the ongoing war in Ukraine. But it is not an exceptional circumstance that every head of state or government is not at a summit. Come to the UN General Assembly anytime in September. You'll never see the president of Russia there. You hardly ever see Xi Jinping there, the Chinese president, or the crown prince of Saudi Arabia. So it's not an anomaly that what generally happens when a head of state or head of government cannot come, they send the foreign minister. Of course, you haven't seen that with the United States. There will be an empty chair, quote unquote. But I believe the South Africans are eager to circumnavigate that and still come out with a strong declaration that can then lead to some very critical implementation moving forward.
And I must say, we've tried our best to steer clear of that conversation, to not allow it to be elevated where some of the main issues are now overshadowed. But the absence is felt, though, because they are making sure that they are felt, because with just the statement from yesterday.
I'm going to be a little quirky right now, but we are one tweet or social media post from talking about the United States. He might not be in the room, but he is the president of the United States, and I am betting, not my bottom dollar, but my bottom rand, that we might get some feedback this week.
I'm with you on that
in the days ahead.
Sherwin,
and we might talk about it.
No, I'm with you on that one. Sherwin, thank you very much for joining us.